And welcome back to Let's Play Fire Emblem Path of Radiance. In the last episode, we took on the prologue chapter and defeated it. In this episode, we're going to start with Chapter 1. Now, really quickly, I would like to mention that I actually went back and changed my stats from fixed, or from random to fixed. But I only got one level up, just like the first chapter, and ironically, all the stats that I leveled up in were the exact same thing for that first one, but I had started recording other episodes, and I was getting way too much magic and no strength at all, so I switched it to a fixed stat. Make it a little bit easier for me. And if this is your first time playing, you're probably going to be playing it on easy mode, not normal, and if you're playing it on normal, the random stat's not going to bother you that much, because the enemies are going to be easier. So, this girl over here with the red hair, this is Titania. She's basically the second in command. She is the Jagan unit of this game. For those of you that don't know Fire Emblem that well, that means that she comes pre-promoted already. So she's already a Class 2 unit, which sounds like you'd think, oh, well, that's a really helpful thing to have, because she'll be doing a lot of damage. She will be doing a lot of damage at the beginning, but I guarantee you, if you get units that are level 1 up to level 2, they're going to outclass her by a mile, because she's got a lot more in every stat right now, but since she's pre-promoted, overall, if you got her up to level 20, her highest level, and got somebody else up to level 20 at their highest level, they would be better than she was. She's kind of a main character of the Grail Mercenaries, sort of. So apparently there's some bandits that need taking care of, and they're from a nearby village. They're not that strong. So she plans on taking Oscar and Boyd, which we'll get into Oscar's profile later, and then Shinnon and Gatries as well. So it looks like our team this chapter is going to be Titania, Oscar, Boyd, and Ike. Of course, Ike's always on your team, so it's Ike's first job. And this is Oscar. He is an awesome unit. They make him seem like he's not very good, and I'll get into why whenever we start the map, but he will class up into what Titania is, a paladin, and he will be much better. I always use Oscar. A very good unit. And we have Boyd, of course. He's actually a good unit. I just think his character is really stupid. Stupid. And it's such a good example for Ike. Yeah, like that's gonna happen. Yeah, let's get out of here. Let's do some fighting. Let's go kill some people. 'Cause that's what this game is all about. And we have Caldea. This is a pretty simple map. It's very straightforward. They do tell you everything you need to know, though. Alright, so Titania's going to explain what's going on. I've already explained a little bit. So you got the map. You can pull this up by hitting start. And then you have the blue marks there. Anything with the ripples around it, that's your commander unit, which will always be Ike. Always will be Ike. And any unit that's blue is on your team. Any unit that's red is an enemy unit. The one with the flashing red ring, that will be the boss. Which is that guy right there. He's the boss, and obviously boss's stats are going to be a little bit higher than everybody else's on the enemy units. So the mission is to take him out and recapture the building. I'd recommend getting rid of all of the enemies anyway, because they give you good experience, so. And for once, Boyd actually gives you decent advice to the game, which is don't send Ike out in the middle of the battlefield, because he'll get swarmed by a whole bunch of units at once, and then he'll die. So yeah, just basically watch how the enemy moves. Sit back and watch how professional handles things. Yeah, that's right. We should sit back and watch Oscar, because he's a professional. You're not, Boyd. And Titania will explain the weapon triangle really quickly, which basically says how well you could possibly do in a fight. It's more effective early on than later. After a while, you'll be so overpowered that it won't even matter anymore. So, the weapon triangle is swords are good against axes, but weak against lances. Axes are good against lances, but weak against swords. And lances are good against swords, but not against axes. So, swords beat axes, axes beat lances, lances beat swords. Now here's part of why Oscar doesn't seem like he's that good early on, is you'll notice almost all the units you're facing so far are all going to have axes, and since the weapon triangle's against him, that makes it look like he's not a very good unit, when in fact he's extremely good. And then Titania also talks about how you can visit any house with an open door, so this one right here, or this one right here. You actually can't visit this one, and you'll see why after my first turn's over. But really quickly, I'd also like to mention Boyd has 30 HP now. Whenever you're training with him, he's only got 18. So let's get into the other two units' descriptions here. Here we have Titania. She's a level 1 paladin. She specializes in axes. Paladins don't always specialize in axes. They can actually specialize in swords, axes, or lances. Oscar is one like that. He specializes in lances. He's a lance knight, but he'll class up into a paladin. Now you might notice all of her stats actually are better than everybody else's, which, like I said, is because she's pre-promoted. But I guarantee if you get Oscar up to the same level, that he will be better. Every single time. Every time I've played this game, I got Oscar up to Paladin level 1. He always had better in every stat, except for magic sometimes, which doesn't really matter. She's got counter, which basically sometimes whenever an enemy hits her, it'll reflect half the damage back on him. So if an enemy does like 6 damage, it'll do 3 damage to him as well before she attacks, which is an okay skill, but it's not. Since I don't use her, I don't really care for it. But yeah, if it's your first time playing, you're probably not going to be hindered too much on easy difficulty if you're going to use her. But don't let her get all the experience points, because she does not need them. And if you do that, then people like Boyd and Ike and Oscar aren't going to get the experience that they need, so try not to do that. And then we got Oscar, who is a level 3 Lance Knight. Oscar is a very good unit, but like I said, he kind of has problems at the beginning because the weapon triangles against him so much. He's got a defense of 8 right now, and believe me, a defense of 8 this early in the game makes this guy a tank. He will take very little damage from the units, because as you can see, Boyd's only got 5 and Ike's only got 6. So it may not seem like a lot, but he will get a lot of defense upgrades. Like, he will get probably about 20 defense by the next 15 level ups, so I mean, he gets a lot of defense. I don't know why, but it's nice, so. And one other thing I want to go over is you'll notice that Oscar has a thing called a Paladin band. Boyd's got a Fighter band. These basically show up after you've beaten the game once. You just automatically get them. You can sell them later on if you want. Basically, they alter the direction of a level upgrade, and they can only be used by certain units. Like Fighter band, Boyd's a fighter, that's why he can use it, so. Basically, it's kind of like using the fixed stat. But these aren't as reliable as using the actual fixed stat itself, so I wouldn't really rely on these too much. I always keep them equipped just because I don't ever feel like taking them off, so. To visit the houses, you just walk up to where the door is and hit visit, and that's pretty much it. I'm going to skip the dialogue that they give you most of the time, because it's usually like, oh, well, thank you for coming to save our village, or whatever. And she got a steel sword. Now, I could switch this over to Ike right now, but since he comes equipped with 4 iron swords, there's no point in that. Now, you'll notice you can hold up to 4 weapons. If you get another weapon, you're going to lose it. You're going to have to choose a weapon to drop. Later on, you'll be able to give it to your storage, but right now you can't. So that's what I use Titania for primarily, is storage. So, yeah. I'm actually going to change things up from how I normally do this fight. Normally I take Boyd over here and actually let him fight this guy. But actually what I'm going to do this time is take Oscar over here and have him fight this guy. And I'll explain why in a second here, after Oscar's done fighting. Because I'm also going to show you how to trade items. And besides, Oscar will be fine. Like I said, he's got a whole bunch of defense right now, so. And like I said, Titania, she will have practically, she will get no experience at all. If she kills an enemy, she's going to get 2 experience. 2. That's it. And then we're going to have Ike attack this guy right here. You can also hold down A to speed this animation up. Like, I'm going to hold down A right here, and it goes by a little bit faster. You can also change that in the options, but, you know, if you don't want to, that's fine too. I'll probably change it eventually, like when I turn the attack animations off. Because the animations are cool and all, but you'll find the game goes a lot slower if you leave them on. So to trade, you get up next to an adjacent ally unit and hit trade, and then choose who you want to trade to. I'm going to trade over, actually, just the Iron Axe for now, just in case she gets attacked But it will be nice to have Boyd have at least one other weapon. And apparently the boss's name is Zawana. He's not relevant to the story at all. They just decide to give the bosses names, and they'll give you dialogue whenever you attack them. And Ike will probably get a little bit different dialogue. Now this is why you can't get to this house on the top, right up here, is because after the first turn, since there's no way to get to that house, the first thing the bandit will do is come to this house and attack it, so it'll destroy the house, so you can't get it. Now the only ones that can do that are the bandits, which are the big muscly guys. Like these guys right here, the fighters, they can't actually destroy the houses, and neither can the swordsmen that you see on the map either. It's only the actual bandits. I know they're labeled bandit, but the enemy you're fighting is called a fighter, because they're like Boyd. So we're just going to let the enemy units try to attack everybody and end up killing themselves. And Ike got another level, which he is going to need. Now, Ike's got really low HP at this point right now in the game, but there is a way to fix that, and you'll actually see it here on this map. And I will explain what else you can do using said item. But for now, we're just going to attack. Please tell me this bandit cannot reach to the house. Shoot, he can. Well, that is not good. Boyd can shove him, but I still don't think he'll be close enough, will he? Well, that is not good. Hopefully he just won't attack him. I'll use Oscar to get rid of this guy because he's got the weapon triangle in his favor, and Swordsman's barely going to do any damage, if any. Yeah, he did nothing. In the next level, you always have one swordsman that'll actually do no damage each time he attacks you. It's kind of funny, actually. We're going to use a vulnerary here. I just zoomed in. You can zoom in and out by hitting L. I did that by accident. I'll just throw her out on the map in case I need her for backup for Ike. Please don't destroy that house. Okay, good, he didn't. Oh wait, what am I talking about? He couldn't reach the house. That was his attack range from that, not his... You stoop, you're already messing up the controls. Way to go. Ugh. Oh well. I think I already went over the attack range, but I'll show it again after this turn's over, since I can't really do anything right now. Yeah, Ike's not going to be able to double the swordsman because they got higher speed than the bandits. That's weird. Why didn't he attack me? Whatever. So, if you highlight an enemy here, you can hit A and you can see their attack range. But keep in mind, this is their attack range, not their movement range. That's why he was one square short of being able to actually do anything. Of course, you can always just have him attack right here, so you won't have to worry about it. However, if I attack him this turn and he counterattacks, then he can probably kill me. So instead, I'm going to just go ahead and visit the house, so I don't have to worry about it. And this one will give you a Seraph Robe, which you definitely want to pick up. This will increase your maximum HP by 7. I almost always give that to Ike. Okay, 6. That'll be 9, 5... I'm just going to call in some backup here and get rid of this swordsman. No, not the boss. Don't kill the boss with Titania, you fool. This is the only time I use Titania, is simply if I get stuck in a trouble spot and I need an enemy dead so I don't get killed, one of my weaker units gets killed, I'll have Titania kill a unit for me. Other than that, I don't use her. And she got an iron sword, so I can have that later on if he needs it. Okay, yeah, he'll be fine this turn. The bandit might miss on one of his attacks anyway, but even if he hits both times, it won't matter. And very rarely will an enemy unit have a healing item unless it's like a boss or something like that. So, very, very unlikely that they will actually heal. Sometimes they'll go to a place called a heal hedge, which we'll see in the next level, actually. And also the square that the boss is standing on, that actually gives him a little bit of healing, because it's known as the seize point, and it gives you a little bit of healing if you stand on it each turn. Alright, that takes care of him. One other thing you'll see here is the condition right there where it says clear, seize, and then turn 4. That is just the condition that you need to get. So in this case, it's just seizing the spot that the guy is standing on. Seizing you can only do with your main character, in this case Ike. There's also one called Arrive, where anybody can do that. There's Route, which you have to defeat all the enemies. Sometimes there's Escape and a certain amount of turns. A whole bunch of different things, and I'll explain each one as we go along. Actually, no, I'm going to go ahead and trade this over to Ike. Now, if you want, there's a mage later on that kind of needs this. If you want to give it to him, then go ahead. It won't hurt my feelings. I do that sometimes. But I prefer to have Ike have more of the HP just because he needs it really early in the game. So this will raise his HP from 20 to 27 max. So that's definitely recommended that you do that. I'm going to go ahead and weaken this guy a little bit more. And then we'll just end our turn. If you want to bring up that menu that I just showed, you just hit A whenever you're not on a unit. Which I'll go over the menu here in a second after the Void's done getting rid of this guy. Alright, all that leaves is the boss now, so I can stop and explain a little bit more here. Okay, so to bring up that menu, you've got Unit, Guide, Options, Suspend, and End. End is just ending your turn. Suspend will basically let you save where you're at right then, and then you can start the game up whenever you want. However, you will lose that save, so you can only save once per map, like once per level. It's pretty inefficient, and the sequel to this game works a lot better. And when and if I do that, then I'll explain it then. Options, these are just basically your control options where you can turn the animation on and off. Game speed, message speed. I'll actually move these up a little bit. Grid thickness, the terrain window, goals, unit window, combat window, stuff like that. Most of it's not really that important, but, you know, whatever. Alright, now I want to have Ike probably kill this boss. He can do 7, alright. Oscar's got 12 HP. Now, the good thing about the units that are on a horse is after they attack, if they haven't used up all their movement, they can actually move again, which I'll show that right here, because normally you'd be thinking, oh, well, Oscar's going to die because he'll get attacked once this turn, and then the boss will attack him next turn and he'll die. But actually, he can move after his turn, so you can just move right there. Now, go for the boss really quickly here. He's really nothing special. He drops an Iron Axe once you beat him. So that's kind of important to know if you want to get the kill with Void so you don't lose the Iron Axe. But honestly, it's not that big a deal. I would actually get the kill with Ike and drop one of his Iron Swords. Because, I mean, we've got 4 Iron Swords, and then there's another Iron Sword and a Steel Sword. So we got plenty of swords, but we don't have as many axes. And you're not going to be getting any lances for a while, so yeah, that's kind of another problem with Oscar's. If his weapon breaks, he's kind of in trouble for a little while. But there's nothing I can do about it. Alright, now what I'm going to do this time is actually wait and just end my turn here. And here's that little bit of healing he gets. It's only 2. I'm pretty sure it's just a percentage, but it's a very low percentage. I think it's 5% or something. Yeah, you can see Ike got a little bit different dialogue there. And good, he didn't get Ike on his attack, so that's nice. And looks like I can beat him this turn, so let's go ahead and do just that. And obviously, like with Grail, whenever you beat a boss, you're going to get a lot more experience than you would normally from beating a regular enemy. Even though he's pretty easy. Really, his stats are the same. The only thing he's got that's any real difference between a regular unit right now is he's just got more HP, that's all. Nothing too special. Why does Ike keep upgrading in magic? Jeez. Whatever. Getting the Iron Axe. Now, whenever you choose to throw one of these items away, I'd recommend throwing away the Iron Sword you used because it's got less uses on it. As you can see, it says like 46 out of 46 or 34 out of 46. That is the use on the weapon. The green one that's got 46 or 45 in the Iron Axe case, that's the max amount of uses you can have, and the white one is how many uses it has left. Once it reaches 0, the weapon's going to break and you just lose it. So just go ahead and get rid of the one that you don't use. And then we get the Road to Victory music, or Path to Victory. Can't remember what it's called offhand. And then, now that there's nothing left on this map, we don't have any enemies on the map, gotten all the houses. You can just walk onto the map, or walk onto the spot with Ike, hit C's, it'll say C's and clear map, and then you just hit yes. That's all there is to it. Sorry if this was kind of a long video for anybody, but it does need a lot of explanation. After a while, I'm not going to be explaining near as much. And Titania nearly spills something about Ike's father. You get to know a lot more about him later on, and especially in the sequel of this game. Like, the sequel explains a lot. I love this part right here, though. He's like, hey, Ike, that wasn't bad for your first battle. Not as flashy as my first time, though. Oscar's like, yeah, you're a real standout. I'll never forget the sight of you so keyed up you broke your own axe. Oscar, dang it, you didn't have to bring that up. Well, that's what you get for being a show-off, Boyd. A professional who got beat by a trainee, broke his own axe. Never mind. Oscar's my favorite. Well, actually, no, I think Rolf is my favorite of the three brothers. Rolf doesn't fight right now. He will later, but he doesn't fight right now. But Boyd's probably my least favorite character-wise, just because he's stupid. I like Oscar. He's funny. And he's got this rival with another unit you get later on. And it's more of a quote-unquote rivalry, because it's like a one-sided rivalry. Like, his rival keeps thinking, he's like, ah, Oscar, hello, my good rival. Oscar's like, yeah, whatever. So, next time on Let's Play Fire Emblem Path of Radiance, we're going to see who this guy is. Apparently his name's Arise, so we'll see what he's up to in Chapter 3. See you guys later.